Well, hello folks, welcome to the channel. I am the Custard Prophet, and we have an exciting video for you today. The developers of TM24, Tennis Manager 24, have announced on Twitter that they are going to be releasing some information about the game on the 11th of April. So I thought I would put a little video together talking about what sort of information they might well be releasing. It's essentially an opportunity for me to say the sort of things I would like to see in the game in its new iteration. And as you can see behind me, there has been no expense spared. We have gone all out with the graphics for this particular video. I hope you enjoy it. Now, first of all, let us not think I am going to be bashing the Tennis Manager games series, because it is a fantastic set of games. I have thoroughly enjoyed it ever since the first iteration of the game, TM21. It's come a long way since then, but when it first arrived, what you could really see about it is that they'd put a huge amount of effort into that first game. The UI of that game was spectacular. It's still spectacular, and I think they've done a fantastic job to make it just look nice. It's a nice game to kind of play and navigate around the menus and stuff. It's that has all been done very, very well. But there were issues with it, certainly in the first iteration, and no game is perfect. So we get here to TM24, and certainly TM23 was very, very good. I very much enjoyed some of the additions that they put in there, including the Davis Cup, which was a fabulous little idea. Still, aspects of that I don't really understand, but that is for a different video. But what are they going to be putting into the new game? They've had some fantastic additions in previous versions of the game. The upgrade to the infrastructure, thought that was amazing. Really, really enjoyed that, and continued to enjoy that. They've made huge amounts of improvements to the actual match day experience. But what else? What are we going to expect for this new game? Well, I'm going to give you 5 potential things. I'm not going to say they're all going to be there, but I bet 1 or 2 will. Number 1. Now, this is probably the most likely to appear. In fact, I would probably say it will definitely appear in some format, and this is improvements to the match day experience. So as I said, it is not the perfect matchday experience, but it's certainly improved greatly since the first iteration of the game, where I think there was not enough animations in the game to really give a good representation of how the points were playing out. There were certainly situations where you thought, well, what the heck is the player doing? And a weird animation was put in because there wasn't one for that particular circumstance. Now, I think a lot of those holes have been filled, but there are still holes to fill, and I would like to think that they are continuing to do that. One that pops into my head is when the ball is hit at a player and they're kind of digging it out of them in a sort of central place. That whole kind of that whole kind of thing, it's not very well shown in the game in terms of the animations. It kind of feels a little bit off. They're playing a shot that they might do with their hands a little bit further out, which they wouldn't be in those sort of circumstances. And there's quite a few of these things where things don't quite work out, where the player's playing a shot and you think, actually, it wouldn't look like that in real life. So I suspect as the games improve, they will be kind of, making all of those different movements, putting those all into the game. So I expect that will be something that they will be changing. But when we're talking about the matchday experience, we're talking about the whole experience. And I think there's certainly a few other areas in there that I would like to see improve. One of the most grating is the end of the game, because anyone who has played a single game in Tennis Manager 2023 will know that when you win or lose a game, when the ball goes out for the final time, it embeds itself in the court and doesn't bounce away. Why? Nobody knows. Nobody knows at all. Let's just let the ball bounce out, and that will be the end of things, and your player can celebrate. And that's, why not do that? It seems an easy thing to do. Please do it. And I guess the other place, they did input some cutscenes. right at the end of the game, at the start of the game. And those are really nice, but I would like to see a little bit more variety, particularly the one at the end of the game where you see the losing player looking forlornly at the floor. And then he kind of looks like he's trying to fix the bench that he's been sitting on, presumably because he's broken it by sitting on it. I don't know, but it looks really weird. And the people in the crowd who seem incapable of clapping properly, I'd like a better cutscene, and maybe an array of different cutscenes, so it's not always the same thing right at the end, or those at the start as well. I think I do like those at the start, but and also the celebrations. A variety of celebrations might be good, just to give a little bit more life into those match day experiences. But I think overall, I enjoy the match day experience. Just want a little bit more in that area. Number 2. This is one that I've been banging on about for quite some time. There's a lot of things this game does well. There's one thing that it doesn't do well, and that is everything around scouting. Scouting is an absolute disaster in the game. It doesn't work. It takes too long. You set your scouts to go out, and it takes them like forever to get any information on any player. So how on earth are you supposed to make a decision? I would like them to be able to come with knowledge that they already have and make decisions on like really interesting players to scout. I want you to go and scout, good quality British players. What do you know already, and what extra things do we need to know? Kind of like they do in Football Manager, and having that whole kind of filtering system around it as well, so you can kind of set your scouts out and then see what they've come out with. I think they've tried to do that, but they've just kind of forgotten about it as far as I can see. So I think scouting requires a complete overhaul. Please do something about that. I really feel that this might be the time they do that, because it's an obvious thing to improve, because it's just not very good. I don't know whether anyone has a different opinion of scouting. I'd love to hear that in the comments if you have. Maybe I'm using it wrong, but for me, I can't stand scouting. It just does not work. It takes too long, and you just don't find the players you want to. So one more thing about scouting, and that's the staff scouting. This again is a complete disaster. I think I don't like the whole system where you can just you have to go to the staff member that you want. You have to kind of interact with them. They say, oh, well, I want to offer you a contract. And they say, oh, well, I didn't fancy coming to Britain. I don't want to do that. I wanted to see that in my career plans. It's very irritating, that is. So why not have a button that says interested staff members that you could click, and that's just the staff members who will be interested or semi-interested in coming to you, who will actually maybe talk about a contract, who could be persuaded, given the right finances. That would be a helpful thing to have, wouldn't it? And I think also all the stuff I was talking about, the main scouting for players, I think that all applies to staff as well. Right, number 3, we are talking here about transparency in the finances. Now, one of the things that they changed, I think it was either the last version of the game or the one before that, was when they did the improvements in infrastructure. So you've got a whole load of different things that you could, different parts of your facility that you could buy. So, different training facilities, a sprint track, for instance, and that linked into different training, training options, which is all really, really good. One of the things they did was they played around a bit with the way in which those things cost and the way you get money back from those things. So the monthly cost for those things, that's pretty set in stone. We know how much we need to pay for that. That's pretty clear. But the problem is it's really unclear now with the system they've put in how much money you're actually going to get, for example, from your swimming pool, from the public coming to visit it, and Uncle Johnny coming to do his 40,000 lengths. All of that stuff, it's very sort of variable, and you don't really know when that money's coming in. It's really unclear. So what I would like to see is some sort of projection of how much money that is projected to be in the account at the end of the month. Are we going to make money if we don't win any tournaments, or are we going to lose it? Basically, just a quick, easy way to know whether we need to buy some more infrastructure that's going to bring more money in, or whether we're fine and we can afford maybe to go out and bring in another player to add to our player pool. Those sort of things would be really, really helpful. So I think an enhancement of the information that we have in the finances would be really, really helpful to be able to, for you to develop your academy more effectively in a more streamlined way. Because at the minute I have to wait until the end of the month because I'm just not sure kind of where we are, and then I have to kind of do all sorts of calculations to work out, well, how much money came from here, how much money came from there. So a much clearer set of maybe a much clearer set of kind of information in terms of balance, maybe a lot more information there, which is maybe customizable, would be helpful. But we will see what they come out with. But I feel it does need a bit of an improvement in that area. Now, number 4 is kind of linked into money, and it's linked into one specific role, staff role in the game, who seems to have a very limited role, and that is the agent. As far as I can work out, the agent is essentially there to find contracts for your players, so supplier contracts for your players. And you get the contracts in, and then you don't need these agents for another 2 years until you're looking for more contracts. So what's the point of them sitting there in the office doing nothing, playing Tetris all day? Why not actually have them why not get them to have a little bit more of a role in the game? And what I was thinking there is, actually, could these agents go out and look for sponsorship deals for various parts of the academy? Could the training courts be sponsored? Could the swimming pool be sponsored? All of these things, and trying to find investments, trying to find people to come and invest in the academy. I think if you were able to do that, and you were able to, really good one of these people, I don't know whether you'd call them agents, but one of these folk, it would make it worthwhile getting a really good one who not only would get the best deals for equipment deals, sponsorship deals for the players, but they would also get more money for the academy. That feels like a really nice idea, and it might be a real incentive to try and attract good quality agents. Right, folks, the final one, and I think this one's a biggie as well, and that is something that exists in the game, but I think it needs to be a bit better, or an alternate option put in for people, and that is a start from scratch option. So we have a version of that in the game. You can start, essentially, I can't remember what it's called, it is something like start from scratch. At the start of the game, you start with a very basic academy. And you can do that with very little money, and that's what I've done over the last couple of games, and it's a lot of fun trying to build up your academy with very, very little funds. That's a lot of fun, but it would be awesome to have the option to start with nothing, no academy, just a barren patch of earth that you've bought, and essentially you need to build things up in the right way. It needs to be possible. Obviously, that needs to be tested. You can't have, you can't have, not have any money, or have £50,000 to start with, and the first upgrade you need, it costs 100,000. You can't be like that. But if it is possible with the right sort of balance in terms of costs of different infrastructures, I think that would be an awesome thing, and I would definitely play that version of the game above the one they've got now. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Is that how you like to play the game? Okay, folks, that is it. Those are the 5 things I would like to see in the game. We will see what comes out of the release announcement on the 11th. What on earth are they going to put in there? I hope some of these things that I've highlighted are included, but please drop your comments down below what you would like to see in the game. What are the things that are missing? What are the things that need to be improved? And what are the things that the game does really, really well? Do you agree with what I said? Are the things that you completely disagree with? I'd love to have your comments down below on all of these things. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, we will be having all things Tennis Manager 24 on this channel once it is released, and we have done that every single version of the game. If you're interested in watching a let's play, we'll be doing that. We'll be putting guides out, we'll be putting various things out, and we've got Tennis Manager 23, 22 and 21 content on the channel in their various playlists. So if you want to go back and have a look at the previous version of the games, you can absolutely do that on this channel. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on a video very, very soon. Goodbye.